Hello, welcome to Electric Hydra if you just joined us.
Right, yeah. Welcome to Electric Hydra Podcast. Today is May 24th, 2010. A second ago, that was Jim Sterling. What's up, Adam?
Yeah, hey.
What's up? Jeez, man. Anyway, that was Jim Sterling. He works at Games Radar, and he's a reviews editor for Destructoid.com. I'm also joined by Joseph Loray.
Hey, dongs.
Hey, dongs. I like it already. He's an associate editor at Destructoid.com. I'm also joined by Tover Catler.
Hi.
That was good. He's an animator. Does his thing at RockMelonSoda.com. And the lovely Adam Dork.
Ew.
He likes making sounds.
That'll do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I think a couple of people already turned off their iPods, more than likely. You know, I was thinking, during that whole conversation, we kind of need like that Batman sound. Whenever they switch topics real weird, they would go da-da-da-da-da, and like it would be the next scene.
Yeah, or like the Transformers one. The whole... Only that would just amuse me.
Dude, we can make that happen.
Hold on just a sec. Adam, you got mad static.
Yeah, dude.
Sounds like you're in the rainforest.
Is it better?
No, it comes and goes.
Maybe you should just turn that off.
Definitely background noise. What the fuck is wrong with you? We're recording.
I'm sorry if the 360 makes more noise than an airplane taking off.
Adam, you'll never be a geisha if you act like this.
Geisha.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. But you'll never be a geisha or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll never be a geisha. Arr, matey. Arr, that's my pirate voice.
Da-da-da-da-da. So, okay, I gotta get this straight out here, and we got a bunch of listener questions about this. I've been playing a lot of fucking Red Dead Redemption. This entire week, I pretty much had it off in preparation for starting Giant Bomb today. And I beat Red Dead Redemption, which I think this is the only Rockstar game I've ever beaten. Which should tell you something, just straight up. Like, I've never been able to finish a Grand Theft Auto. Or, they've done something else, right? I know they've done something else other than Grand Theft Auto.
State of Emergency?
Bully
and State of Emergency. I haven't finished those either, because I really don't like these games.
Yeah, brother, I've never played a Rockstar game.
Dude, you should really try Red Dead Redemption. Like,
it's the only one that's ever, like, that I've ever felt the pull.
Right.
So,
and you should, man. Like, it is wonderful. It is so different than like the city side, and not just because of the contrast in environments, but it is so much more different than Grand Theft Auto than what I would have ever imagined when I first saw like the preview materials for it. Because they're so smart about the design in this. Like, you're out in the Wild West, so there isn't a bunch of shit, but they still make things interesting. Like there's flowers or just animals roaming around, and it doesn't get annoying. Like, you actually, because it's so pretty, and because like the map isn't like wicked, like ridiculous huge, you actually kind of want to ride between location to location on your horse, which controls beautifully too. It's not even, it doesn't even have like the ridiculous like handling physics that the Rockstar always puts into their games. And the shooting's not bad either. It's the first Rockstar game where I'm like, yo, I actually don't mind killing things. It's amazing. And I almost wish Lindy was here, because we've been playing that game a lot, like the multiplayer component, which is largely competitive, like just team deathmatch and shit like that. But there's also a mode that lets you do free roam, which is essentially you and a bunch of your buddies can posse up. You can kind of form like a little gang, or you don't have to. And you can just roam around the map and do your own thing. Like, you can just shoot dudes, or you can go hunting. Like, and the cool thing about this is when you hunt, you can skin an animal and then sell the skin for money, which in turn you can buy like weapons with and shit like that. It's pretty hit, man. Like,
can you like double up on like the free roam and then like whatever your single player missions are? Like, if you have a single player mission in like town A or whatever, and you're free roaming around and you happen upon it and you're like, oh, I could do this mission. Does that lock in? Does that fit?
Yeah, the coolest thing about this game maybe is like they've gotten rid of like the bullshit side missions for the majority. In Grand Theft Auto 4, you'd come across some like weapons merchant and be like, "Yo, Nico, go get me a fucking glass of water from this goddamn stand over
shit.
here."
It is your cousin, Roman. You want to go bowling?
Yeah. It's like, let's do something fucking stupid. Let's just go over there, then you come back to me, and then you go over there again, and it'll be fucking awesome. Like, the cool thing about Red Dead is, like, these ambient kind of, like, side missions just happen naturally, and they're random, too. So, like, you'll be riding down the road on your way to your next story mission, which all the story missions are incredibly compelling. Like, the narrative they weave throughout the game is just amazing. This is the only Rockstar game I would give a 10 to, by the way. That's how strongly I feel about it. The only open-world action game, actually, I would give a 10 to. But anyway, like, the missions will just come to you. You'll just see a wagon across the road and some hooker being like, yo, I need some help. And then it'll end up either being like you're actually helping her against, like, thugs that are trying to take the wagon, or it could be a fucking ambush. Like, it's just wild like that. Or you can just ride past it. You don't even have to take part in it, man. Like, and it doesn't initiate like a normal mission either. You just do it or you don't.
That's cool. Is there any
Mass
kind of
Effect
like
2 considered an open world game?
No, I wouldn't call it that at all.
Okay.
I mean, I could see in some regards, but I wouldn't classify it as such.
So I mean, like, what is like? How's the reward structure set up? Like, if you do what this woman asks you to do, like, do you get money? Is there like an experience system?
Yeah, you get a little bit of money, and you also get honor points and fame. So fame is kind of like the driving thing, where the more famous you are, the less things cost, or the more people will talk about you in town. And honor is kind of like their moral system, which is like it's almost as important as the moral system in Dragon Age was, where it's just kind of there. You're kind of acting out your character, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
You know, you can be a dick if you want, and nobody's really going to treat you much different, but maybe some people will. And then that's probably one of the cooler things, too, is John Marston, the lead character in this game. He's a pretty good guy, kind of like Nico was at the beginning of Grand Theft Auto 4, where you just kind of didn't want to fuck with anyone, because, you know, Nico seemed like a decent out-of-the-boat kind of dude until later in the game, and you accidentally go ballistic or run over a dude with a car, and then you're just like, all right, fuck it, it's on. But, you know, he's an upstanding cat. Like, that's the whole kind of thing about the game, is like, this is like the last like honorable gunslinger motherfucker, right? So he's just like a hard-nosed dude who's just trying to do the job that's set out before him, and he's got like this set of he's got like a moral code. He's just like, I'm not going to do hookers because I'm married, and I'm not going to kill anybody that don't deserve it. But, you know, I mean, naturally you can do that if you want to, but you don't want to, and there aren't many opportunities to go like fucking ballistic. There really aren't, and like in Grand Theft Auto 4, where you could just grab a helicopter and just rain hell on the entire city. You can't really do that in Red Dead Redemption. There's no equivalent to that. I mean, I will admit,
Except
the first
like
thing
a flying like donkey cougar horse or whatever.
Right, which I wouldn't be surprised in the game if you've seen any of the glitch videos. The craziest thing I did was I had this meeting where I tried to help this bitch, and she ended up shooting me because I accidentally pointed the gun at her. So I just went straight sociopath. I said it on Twitter. So the first thing I did was I jumped on the train that kind of like rolls around the map, and I killed the conductor, and then I went through all the train cars and murdered everyone. And that's how it just kind of started for me. It was just like, all right, now I'm going to be the baddest motherfucker in the West, and people got to respect that. Like, they actually do. You get fame and like some prices lower in towns because you're an asshole. It's pretty
scared of you, man.
Totally, and they should be, man, because I got like a duster coat and shit. Like, I'm all like gunslinged out. I wish I could have like been like Roland. You know what I mean? Dark Tower Roland. Like, I wanted like 2 6-shooters. Unfortunately, you can only get one, and you keep all your fingers throughout the game.
All right, so they've done like New York or whatever, and they've done the West. I think they need to do like a 2030s era like Chicago, where you're fucking like Al Capone or like Dillinger.
That would be fucking cool.
You're fucking wearing a zoot suit and you're listening to jazz and you're
wait.
They're
making this.
Yeezys, and
They're making this game.
Has Mafia.
Yeah, no. Rockstar is making this game. They're fucking Australian joint. What was it called? It was just on Game Informer like 2 months ago.
Is it set in the 20s?
Yeah.
You talking about L.A. Noire?
All right.
L.A. Noire, right? Isn't that set in like the 20s?
Of course.
All right, I thought that game was like shovelware. I thought that was like ghostware. Is that shit coming out?
Apparently, they just...
It's been in development for like a million years.
Well, so was Alan Wake, but hey, miracles...
Hey!
So is Too Human.
Da-da-da-da-da.
No.
I fucking hated Too Human, but...
LA Noire is 1940s Los Angeles. Just
I'll take
double checked.
That's close enough, right?
Not bad. But we've got 2K obviously doing Mafia 2, which is coming out, which is that whole thing. I'd like to see Rockstar revisit they did GTA London, which was set in the 60s.
Oh, right.
Back when it was a top-down thing. So I would love to see them do 60s London. I just think there's the amount of stuff they could make fun of that era, and the whole style and look of it, I think, would be fantastic. I think it would be a good follow-up to Vice City when they did that whole period setting with a very distinct look and style, music and everything.
Those period pieces kind of, I mean, they work. They really do.
Yeah, people love it. People love nostalgia, or even if they're too young, they like looking at the funny dressed people back in them days. Ye olde 60s. So I think that would be a great thing.
Maybe they ought to do like a blaxploitation, like Harlem Renaissance thing, where it's like,
And the thing is, Rockstar could pull that off too. And I got to mention this, hands down, Rockstar is the best writing in the industry. Period. I've never played a game that was so well written, just dialogue and all. Like, this is a tremendously well written game. Some of these characters give like fucking Oscar performances. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
I heard mixed things about the writing. Like, when it's on, but they rely a bit too much on cheap comic relief too. I mean, I haven't played it yet. I think it's going to have to be the next thing I buy, because I haven't been buying any games because I'm reviewing some stuff at the moment. So it's like, get the fun stuff later. I got Prince of Persia, but I'm kind of wishing almost I got Red Dead Redemption now instead as my one fun game of the month, because I've heard nothing but good things, and I generally like Rockstar stuff. So I think I might have to just break my rule and go out and get it maybe this week or something.
See, I generally don't like Rockstar stuff, so it's all that makes it even more interesting to me.
Yeah,
that's all anybody's talking about, because I really don't typically dig that sort of thing.
Yeah, the whole open world thing isn't what I enjoy. And so the fact that they've managed to make me interested, really, really interested. I don't know if it's just good marketing or hype or buzz or whatever it is, but this is the first time that I've ever really felt that need to buy a Rockstar game.
And it's a good product. I mean, I think that's part of it too, is everybody's just genuinely happy with their purchase. Like, I've never been this impressed with an open world action game. And hell, I reviewed Prototype and stuff like that. It is amazing. I can't say props enough to Rockstar.
Cool.
But Topher, I heard you played Pac-Man.
Yeah, that is my game of the week. Pac-Man on Google. I've been so fucking busy. That is the only thing that I played this week. Was Pac-Man on Google.
This shit scared the hell out of me. And if you guys didn't know, on Friday was Pac-Man's 30th birthday. Is that right?
I think the birthday was Saturday, but they kicked everything off on Friday.
Okay.
Because obviously everyone was at work and they wanted to drive American productivity down. So it was like, get that shit on Google today.
I often sit idle on Google because I'll look for something and then walk off, and all of a sudden my Google page started playing Pac-Man music. I'm freaking out. It scared the shit out of me, to be frank. And I turned it off. I didn't know that thing was even playable. I thought it was just playing music.
I didn't either. I saw it all day and didn't think anything of it. And then I noticed that the I'm feeling lucky or whatever button said insert coin, so I hit that and it was, that's actually Pac-Man. So I played that, and that was all I played all week.
At least it's a good game.
Yeah.
Jim, you probably played something super interesting, right?
Unfortunately not. At the beginning of last week's episode, I lamented that Super Mario Galaxy 2 hadn't yet arrived, and I was like, well, it's definitely coming before Saturday, so I can play it and review it. It's Monday and nothing. No astronaut ice cream for me. No Super Mario Galaxy 2 either. I lost my shit on Sunday. I gave up on Saturday, obviously. I said to Dale North, one of my colleagues at Destructoid, go ahead, review it, because they got it. They sent it to the wrong place at first, so it ended up in Dale's hands anyway, and they said they'd send me a copy, but they didn't. So I spent all of Sunday moping about and whining because I didn't get a free game. As we reviewers are wont to do. But more than that, I enjoy reviewing more than anything else in the world. So I was actually looking forward to reviewing Super Mario Galaxy 2 almost more than I was looking forward to playing the thing. So I was like, fuck it. I could have pre-ordered this, but I thought it was coming, so I got Prince of Persia instead. So screw you, I'll wait for it to get it used. Then Nick Chester, my editor-in-chief at Destructoid, bought another copy and said, I'm sending this to you because you are sad, and I do not like you doing a sad in your face. So he sent that along. So that should get there this week, which...
He's such a sweetheart.
I know, he totally didn't have to do it. It's like, no, I was mostly whining on Twitter just to have a go at Nintendo. You don't have to do that. But, that's very cool and awesome of him. So thanks to him. Awesome. I have been playing UFC Undisputed 2010 for review. That's released on Tuesday. It's Monday as we're recording this, so I don't know when this is going up. Wednesday, Tuesday. Either way, by the time you hear this, it'll be out. Pretty good if you like that sort of thing. I have a fair enough knowledge of UFC, mostly that anybody in that octagon at any given time is an idiot, because I cannot fathom how a man sees another man getting smacked the fuck out of his head, like direct punches on the cranium, and say, you know what? I think I'd be good at that. So, and then I mean, it's bad enough to be a professional footballer where your body is destroyed before you're 50. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that's true, but you've seen what happens. You've seen what happens to athletes who, when they're young, the pinnacle of human conditioning, and then they end up as these crippled, broken, old men. Which is tragic, it's a shame. But I dread to UFC comparatively is somewhat newish. I dread to think what's going to happen to the veterans of UFC when they become old enough to be veterans. I mean, boxers end up smashed till they're simple. And then these guys don't even have gloves. They are just punching and kicking each other with bare fists and feet. And I don't want to say I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to them, because that would be cruel. But they made the decision, so it's going to be interesting. I basically want to see Brock Lesnar in a wheelchair drinking applesauce, especially with how arrogant the man is now. And I'm not saying I'd laugh, but I wouldn't not laugh. So. The game itself's pretty cool. I like the creator fighter thing, mostly because I don't care for any of the real UFC fighters. And I can make a man with pink spiky hair and a green beard and blue chest hair, so that's cool. As usual, it's quite easy to get into. It's you don't have to know huge combos and things. It's all about context, kind of like the old school WWF games as they were back in the day on the PS1 and PS2. So that's cool. Easy to get into, easy to play. If you like UFC, you're going to really like it. And even if you don't, it's something you can play around somebody's house. One of those kinds of easy multiplayer games. That's cool. Still playing Alpha Protocol, but I still can't talk about it. Because if I do, Obsidian will get upset, especially with the things I'm going to say about it. So, it's hard because Obsidian got upset after it got better, so they stopped me saying anything else about it, and I was slagging it off before. But then they stopped me, then it got better, and now I can't say anything, so I can't say it got better. In fact, I'm breaking embargo now. So, fuck it, what are they going to do?
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Man breaks embargo.
Fuck it. This is the best press they're going to get, so... that's about it. It's mostly been work, and counting the days till Super Mario Galaxy 2 gets here.
I hear you. You know what? Back to your UFC thoughts. You think any of those dudes will fail the marshmallow test later? You guys are familiar with that, right?
That's a new one on me, but then I'm not.
I know what the pencil test is, but I don't think that applies to dudes.
The marshmallow, and and I say this in relation to, let me give you some context, just a little bit of football here. All right, Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's kind of a big deal.
And also a big fuck up. But...
Dude, he is a huge fucking moron.
God
and the end of the story is, dude can't control his own impulses. And the marshmallow test is essentially something for your, I think it's your frontal cortex. Anyway, you put a marshmallow in front of a little kid, right? You're in a scientific laboratory, you're the scientist. You put a marshmallow in front of a little kid sitting at a desk, and you're like, yo, if you don't eat that marshmallow, by the time I get back, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. And normally kids will eat that first marshmallow because they don't really, want to, they can't handle, like, waiting for it, right? It's just right there. So
they got no context. I've got a stepson, and he's got no foresight. He doesn't realize what will happen. The other fucking day, sorry to go off on a tangent.
No, it's all right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Just to clarify that. I don't give a fuck. But it's the summer holidays now, so I've got to look after little jizz fingers, and I forgot his real name. And he's a very fussy eater, and I'm not, clearly, if you see any picture of me. So I can't fucking stand seeing a kid who's a fussy eater. It might be partially because I was a very poor child, and I was lucky to get anything. So if I see a child who obviously doesn't want for anything, he's well looked after, but then he gets fucking fussy with his food, good food that I know he likes, I get pissed off, and I refuse to cook to order because I'm not a chef. He'll get his choice of what's for lunch, and that's that. And he had his choices. He refused. I walked out of the kitchen. I said, those are your choices. Come back to me later. I walk in there. A little bastard has pulled a chair from under the table and is using it to climb up the fridge.
Oh, my goodness.
He turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, it's like when Wile E. Coyote finally catches the Roadrunner in one episode, and then he holds up a sign that says, well, you always wanted me to catch him. I don't know what happens next. It's like that. Kids don't fucking... Like the other time when I walked into the kitchen and he was covered in chocolate. And I'm like, how did you think you were going to fucking get away with this?
And in Ben Roethlisberger's case, it's him raping a chick in a bathroom. Like, dude just can't control himself. I
had to send my fucking kid to bed when he did that. I was like, Jesus Christ, she's on the floor. I can see her. Don't put a rug under fucking over her. I was implying that my 7-year-old stepson had raped her.
Okay. Just to finish out this point, Sports Illustrated did a little article on Ben Roethlisberger since he just got in trouble again, got suspended like 4 games, which is kind of a big deal for a football player because dude just lost millions of dollars because he allegedly raped a girl in a bathroom. And she dropped charges, but the civil suit's still going on. Something weird with that. She was kind of okay with the rape or something, like she consented, but she didn't want it there. Something weird was going on. Ben was just out of control as normal, right?
No, maybe,
but
yeah.
Dude has a history of concussions, which is pretty common with most football players. They get knocked around a lot. They get like 3 or 4 concussions. Hell, like even some football players get that many in a fucking season, and half of them say anything because now they have to get pushed on the IR, which means you don't get paid.
Troy Aikman being the most famous example.
Oh my God, him and Steve Young.
Has like 1 million concussions.
Steve Young had to quit, like, because that one season he had like 4, right? And then he was just like, I can't do this anymore. Anyway, like they're doing studies now where they're just kind of comparing, like, maybe these guys can't control themselves anymore, and the reason why so many football players get in trouble, and it's not a lot, I guess it was probably like 3%, but they just can't make these rationales anymore, these long-term kind of plans where Ben can't be like, maybe we should wait till we get to a hotel room. He's like, nah, you know what? Bathroom. This is fine. So, it's just one of those things I read about the other day. I liked it.
I'm kind of relieved because when you said marshmallow test, leave a marshmallow in front of a kid. If you don't eat that, you'll get 2. I thought they did that with footballers and women. So I was panicking before you clarified.
If you don't rape this girl,
you'll get to rape 2 girls when I get back.
So
you know
I'm
what?
glad
and Ben would take the 1.
Yeah.
It'd just be over.
But he would do it as a personal favor to the 2 that he didn't rape. Just being nice.
Maybe, I don't know. It must be nice to live in that world of like instant gratification where this guy's got like money coming out of his ass, probably, right? I mean, I'm sure he signed like $40 million guaranteed contract. And he does does whatever. He rides on a motorcycle without a helmet. He buys whatever fucking car he wants.
That's why half these fucking people kill themselves on drugs, because they've got everything. They have nothing else to do, so they get very bored, and then they get very high, and then they're dead.
Right.
And that's 2 weeks, and we've talked about rape both times.
That was more subdued, you know.
Well, yeah, but
that was interesting social commentary.
I mean, let's ramp it up. Let's go.
So, okay, have you guys read any cool books lately?
Yes.
Name it.
Go.
Apart from the one I'm writing myself, which I will probably end up talking about in coming weeks. But I am writing a book myself. It's a comedy thriller. I don't want to say much more about it in case I get bored. But I've written several chapters on this one, which I never usually do when I attempt to write a book. So I think this one's going to happen. So yeah, that's quite good. But anyway, I've been reading a book called The Sad Tale of the Brothers Grossbart by Jesse Bullington. And it is brilliant. It's about these two grave robbers called Hegel and Manfred Grossbart. The book starts with the two brothers slitting a young boy's throat, burying a hatchet in a man's wife's back, and setting fire to two young girls. And that's the first few paragraphs. It then goes on as just these adventures of these two guys who end up slaying demons and becoming these forces of good, even though they're greedy, grave-robbing bastards. And they follow. They don't believe in. They don't worship God, but they believe in the Virgin Mary, and believe that. And I'm going to have to bring this up again, but it's subject. It's in context. The two brothers believe that God raped Mary. Which, again, it's one of those sort of theological commentaries, because that's kind of what happened if you look at it in a certain way. So they think God raped Mary, and that's why Jesus was, in their words, the snivellingest, cuntiest, most craven bastard in the last 1,000 years. Which I just thought was awesome. Not through any belief of my own, because I don't really have any opinions of that particular deity or what have you, but just the twisted morality of the characters and their weird ideas of what religion is and what it means to be pious and everything is fantastic. It's a very interesting book starring two utterly reprehensible characters who you can't help but love, even though they do some absolutely atrocious things. So I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, you sold me on that. I like it. Joseph, you been reading anything? I know you're all book smart.
Man, I like books every once in a while. Not anything.
Man, you know I like books, butthole.
I be liking books, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I do like Ice-T.
Confederate flags.
You know, that's kind of a mixed bag. The whole I don't know about the whole Confederacy. Anyway, books. I've been reading a lot of magazines, actually. I'm moving this week, and so I packed all my fucking books up. And so all I've had left is like the two most recent issues of Wired. I've been reading those.
Get a Kindle.
What? Yeah, that would have solved the problem, but that's like the one and only time that I would have used a Kindle.
Dude, you would use it all the fucking time if you got a Kindle. So. Yeah, dude. It's just like a real book, dude. It's amazing.
But more generally, I just finished and started rereading The Song of Ice and Fire by
nice.
George R.R. Martin. I read the whole fucking thing, all 4 chapters, or all 4 books, and I started over again. And like, there's so much foreshadowing, and there's so much kind of the way Martin kind of sets up his plots is really, really interesting.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yo, okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is anyone else in here planning to read this?
Don't spoil anything since the first book. I've read the first book,
okay,
and I need to get round to the others. So
yeah,
here it is, Joseph. Yo, Ned Stark! Can you believe that shit?
Oh shit! Dude, I was bummed out. I was bummed out. And that Ned is like he's the only legit dude in the whole fucking world.
Exactly, man.
And over the course of the thing, you meet a few other legit dudes, and it all fucking like ends up the same. Like being a nice dude will get your ass killed.
That was in the first book, Jim.
Yeah. BT dub, by the way.
Jon Snow's my homie, though, man.
Yeah, he's good.
That mother can roll. Like, he's fine and shit. Up on the wall and whatnot.
But yeah, just the foreshadowing and just kind of the different little plot lines that all come together. And when you go back and read it a second time, I mean, it's like getting your mind blown. But that's kind of the most recent thing. But so magazines and badass fantasy books.
Nice. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Maybe you guys can help me out, or somebody can scream at their iPod. Chuck Palahniuk?
Palahniuk.
Chuck?
Palahniuk.
Palahniuk?
Palahniuk.
Palahniuk?
That's how I say it. Palahniuk.
Okay. Anyway, I bought a bunch of his books on the Kindle store, right? And I just started reading Choke for the first time. Holy shit, wow. Anyway, that book, fucking crazy. I love it, but it's crazy.
What do you like about it?
I love his style, like the way he. This is just me as a writer. I love the way he comes up with clever nouns to describe things. I can't think of any specific chapters right now or specific passages, but the way that short form kind of style he writes in and most prominently in Fight Club, and then I guess in Choke. This is the second book, and I guess to some extent Lullaby. It just intrigues me. I've never read anybody like that before.
Have you read Lullaby yet?
I have.
Lullaby is the only Palahniuk book that I've read so far. I started on something else, but it belonged to somebody else, so I couldn't finish it. But yeah,
it's great.
I think his style is the strong point.
Definitely, and it's about a sexaholic who was once a doctor, right? And
Right.
he goes through his life. He quit out of medical school, so everyone he sees, basically every woman he sees, he also considers a patient. And he's one of those dudes where, like, if he sees a mole, he instantly thinks it's a tumor, and he categorizes that. That's just like part of the book's kind of thing. Whereas in Fight Club, it was always talking about just the gross things people do to each other, or food, or how things are manufactured, or whatever. This book's thing is like, this mole could lead to a malignant tumor. See also whatever, just cool little doctor shit like that. And he has this crazy mother who kept breaking out of prison and kidnapping him when he was little. So he's got like this weird haunting memory of her. And his big thing is, I guess, other than the doctor bit, is he chokes on food on purpose to get attention and to get money, because his mother's now in a intensive care unit at some kind of old folks home. I don't know. I have no idea what this book is even about, really. Other than those things, like, I have no idea where this book is going. And you know what? I don't mind. I kind of like the meandering bullshit that Chuck writes in. It's amazing.
Like, I like Chuck. We'll just call him Chuck. That's easier to say.
Yeah. That's why I just went to that.
Yeah, I like Chuck's style. Like I said, I've only read one of his books, so this isn't like an authoritative. But my experience, like, I like the style. Like, I think he's really funny, and I think he's witty. But I like the characters he draws. I feel like he draws really interesting, really round characters. No, not round, but deep. They don't, in my experience, they don't develop a lot, but he shows you more of them as the book goes on, and so it's kind of like they develop. But I just feel like sometimes the plots are just a little bit too. There's a shade too, like, coincidental. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like sometimes he kind of writes himself into a corner, and he has to, like, make up some bullshit for it to work, and that kind of pulls you out of the experience because everything else is pretty much spot on. So I feel like his plotting, like, is kind of jarring for me. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy Lullaby.
That'd be a hell of a dude to go out to dinner with, man. I'm pretty sure he's kind of weird.
And fuck it, dude, I'm a hell of a dude to go out to dinner with.
Topher, you read anything cool lately?
Not really.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back after these messages. Here it is. Have you guys ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yes.
Yes.
George Clooney had the bangingest fucking tattoo ever. I've had this shit on my mind since I got that scorpion on my right arm, right? I was like, I realized how dumb that was. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to get something even dumber. I want this From Dusk Till Dawn tattoo. But ever since then, it's been 10 fucking years. I'm still like, yo, I want this tattoo. I'm totally going to get it. I'm going to get it this summer.
I wish I could remember like the entirety of Cheech's like pussy speech, because that would be like a good like intro to the podcast.
We can look it
White
up.
pussy, black pussy, stinky pussy, but like the whole fucking thing.
Apple pie pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, my mother had that on the audio cassette, man. I used to listen to that fucking shit.
Can you
Yeah, it
do
was
all-
at the beginning of somebody's song, wasn't it? Some group had a song out and they had the whole pussy speech
I think we did
before
that,
it.
like maybe during the breaks of the podcast.
You can find a cheaper pussy anywhere else. Fuck it.
It's probably a White Snake album or something. That's all my mother listened to.
White Zombie.
No, White Snake, man.
Christaberg.
She was not cool enough to listen to the White Zombie. It was all Guns N' Roses and hair bands.
Oh, man. Winger?
No Winger, actually. A Warrant. There was Warrant.
All right.
Oh my
What about
gosh, Brett
Scorpion?
Michaels.
No Poison, though.
Yeah,
there was
I know.
Poison.
All right, what about Quiet Riot?
Yep, yeah. She had
Cool.
one of those. Skid Row.
Twisted
Yeah, I-
Sister.
Yeah, Twisted Sister. She had that one. She only
Yeah,
had the single, though, I think.
I actually kind of like Come On Feel the Noise. As far as 80s songs go, that song's fucking badass.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit it right now. Like Guns N' Roses.
Really?
And, yeah, you know what? And
They got their moments.
yeah, okay, I could buy the Greatest Hit CD and be perfectly happy. It's kind of like with Stabbing Westward, where they had a lot of fucking clunkers. But
Wow,
if
it's
you buy
been
the
a long
Greatest-
time since I thought about that.
Dude, yeah. But if you buy the Greatest Hits album, it's fucking awesome because it's got
Or
the
you can
thing
just
I
buy
hate.
their second album, which is the best.
Oh, which one is that? Wither,
No,
Blister,
it
Burning.
was the second one. It was like the Dark something.
Oh, Darkest Days. That
Yeah,
was their
Darkest
third
Days.
album, I thought. Oh well, it doesn't.
That
matter.
was their best album, pretty much. All their hits, besides like 2, are on that album.
Right.
All right, Brad, do you actually like Guns N' Roses?
Yeah,
Guns N' Roses, or do you just like Slash?
I like Slash. He's pretty hip, but I like the Greatest Hits albums. Like, so if
One
you
or
get
two of their
like-
songs are pretty good. I'll make you right on that.
right, like Rocket Queen and the Terminator song. What was that? Shit.
That's what it was called.
You could be
Blank
mine.
Hit. You could be mine, right, dude? That is so awesome. The drum solo and thing. Yo, I could, and I always think of like Buttnick, like on the back of the motorcycle. I was like, yeah,
Dude, Bobby Budnick.
Awful, waffle, awful.
I have a.
What the fuck is that noise? Is that
Turn
a
that shit off.
is that a scorpion?
Is that a robot
Is
cicada?
that a rattlesnake?
You actually are hearing that? It's like all turned down.
Yes, we're hearing that.
That's the metal turret game.
Adam, you've got a microphone strapped on, dude. If you can hear it, we can hear it.
While we're talking music, I have a musical recommendation for Yal. I've become obsessed with him this past week. I've known about him for several years because he does a lot of work in Britain. He's an Australian singer-songwriter who does most of his stuff on piano. He's called Tim Minchin, and you can see most of his stuff on YouTube. I recommend Rock and Roll Nerd, Dark Side, and The Good Book. He is absolutely hilarious, not to mention dashingly attractive. So, yeah, check his stuff out on YouTube, especially those 3 songs. And if you don't fall in love with him, you have a heart made out of shit. So, that's my recommendation.
Brad, what have you been listening to?
Okay.
Christ
Man, what-
fuck? Is it Christ fuck, Brad?
Christ fuck. There you go. Boom. Now people now they've already heard Christ fuck and they understand what I'm all about. I lately actually this is kind of funny. I had kind of like a late '90s throwback moment where I bought Disturbed's new CD or not new
Whoa,
CD.
really?
It was their second CD. It was called Prayer, I think, or
Is that
Believe
with
or
the
something.
monkey or not?
I don't think there's a monkey in it, man.
Is that the one with Down with the Sickness on it?
Oh no, that was their first album.
Oh,
Um,
fuck it.
This one's all right because their drummer got a double bass pedal, so the dude goes fucking nuts the entire time. Like that's all the songs are. Is just like this guy just going nuts with his.
Whoa! Quick side note. Speaking of like '90s bands with double bass pedals, the bass player from Slipknot's dead apparently.
Which one?
Which one? Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Fucking Paul. I don't know. It was on Twitter today.
Paul.
Paul Gray. Paul Gray.
Is that the guy that put the hog mask on? Like,
I don't know. Paul Gray. He's dead. I don't know. That's all I know.
let me recite some lyrics here. Enemy, show me what you want to be. I can be anything, even if I can't be you. Enemy, show me what you want to be.
So
dude, like what is going on with that song? I forgot the name of that now.
All right. So anyway, Disturbed, double bass drum pedal. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I've been listening to. But here's a cool music suggestion, like Jim Sterling. Like if you want to be an awesome industrial dude like me, came at the end of Nine Inch Nails and shit. Google the band Clinical Torment. They used to be. I used to have a buddy. His name was Chad Miller. He kind of got dead like one day. But anyway, they have a tribute site, and you could download like his entire album for free. And he started getting hot at one point. They started playing his shit in clubs, but things didn't really pan out for Chad. Yeah, I'm a little bit
Adam. That's fucking cold, dude. How are you gonna laugh? Jesus Christ!
It's okay, Like I'm fine with it,
All right. Well, my musical recommendation for the week is this guy from Canada. His name is Raleigh Pemberton, better known as Cadence Weapon. He's a rapper, and he used to write for Pitchfork, which I know a lot of people think Pitchfork's twatty, and it is, but don't let that turn you off. Really fucking good rapper.
Twatty.
Yeah, twatty. As of or like a twat.
No, I mean I got it. I just never
Thank you. I was confused for a second there.
spoken aloud.
Cadence Weapon. He's got 2 albums out, and then he's got like a Pay What You Want mixtape on his website now. I like him a lot. I've been listening to him a lot over the past few weeks. So there you go.
Well,
I
you know
don't
what?
even really
If
hip hop that
we're
much.
gonna talk about rap, though, I gotta mention if you like the kind of music that I dig, check out Saul Williams. Like his second CD is amazing. He used to tour with Nine Inch Nails actually before he got terrible, and part of that's Trent Reznor's fault. Trent Reznor, do drugs, please. If you're listening to this, do drugs. Just quit. Stop this stuff.
Quit working out.
The
Quit
last
getting
3
huge.
albums, yeah, stop. Just fucking stop, dude. Quit making things. Until you get yourself in a fucking mess again. Quit making things. Because this is bad, dude. You need to chill out.
Like, go back to like wasting away and weighing like 50 pounds
And being loveless.
get
know what
sad
I mean?
again.
Dude, yeah. Just go out and you got me back. You know what I mean? Like that whole like I'm clean and I got an emo band behind me thing, not working. It's really not. Nobody likes you anymore.
You guys remember about 10 years ago after 9/11 when anthrax bombs like in the mail were the thing? We should just send Trent Reznor some meth. In an
No, maybe we shouldn't. And nor should anyone else. Da-da-da-da-da.
What you just said you wanted, like.
I'm saying by himself. He needs to make that decision. I'm just here to coach him.
We can't be enablers.
I'm just here to say, you know what, dude, maybe you should. But you know what? I'm not going to send it to you.
Hey, everybody, let's all find Halle Berry and cut her. Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't think I ever said anything like that. That was Jim Sterling, by the way. Please.
We're going to cause some horrible accident in the near future.
All 2 of our listeners are going to take us seriously.
Yeah, we have like 2 listeners now, don't we?
Yeah,
I think so.
We got a legit audience now. I don't know what to say anymore now. I'm scared.
Yeah, straight up. So, my birthday's
Once
tomorrow.
Once we hit 5 listeners, I'm going to start telling them my political beliefs. They're going to love that.
Yo, you're a Democrat, right?
Yeah, everyone wants to hear what I think about society.
Yo, they probably wouldn't have computers if you took us back to the fucking primitive, Jim. What would you be doing? Nobody'd be reading your reviews then. We're beating on like tamba drums and like enjoying the wreckage of our modern society.
Why have you decided that all of a sudden?
I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing you're one of those.
No, if anything, we need more technology and less trees. That's my statement for a brighter tomorrow. More technology, less trees.
And if that means less pollen, fucking sign me up,
Fucking
brother. 'Cause
right,
I don't give a shit.
absolutely.
You put a fucking camera in my shower if that means like no more pollen because I'm tired of this. I sound like crap, dude, and I hate it. And I go outside and the pollen's like fucking falling around me and I just hate it. I hate it. I want to burn everything. I've said this before, but I want to burn everything. I'm like Trent Reznor. Like Trent Reznor in like 93. I just, everything.
Or maybe that's what we should do. We should send Trent Reznor some pollen in the post.
Yeah. The post.
Sorry, the mail.
Geisha.
We should send some pollen in the mail. Yeah, I'm from America. I got my coffee.
Russia.
Russia.
Hey,
Russia's
yeah,
a good
I'm
country.
having a frappuccino in Russia.
Russia.
Are you also a 14-year-old girl? Because that's
Yes.
what you sound like right now.
That's what you all sound like to me.
When he was growing up, his mother just used to put Clueless on and played it on repeat and be like, Jim, act like this. You need to get like this so we can get big someday and move to the States.
Move to Russia.
Yeah,
So you
she
could
would
be
say it all
engaged?
fucked up British like, though. I can't even make a British voice.
Pip pip cheerio.
Like,
That's it. You nailed it.
I am technically a victim of racism. I want that noted, which is hypocritical coming from me, but not that I'm a racist. If you're a
What do you get for
first-time
charging
listener,
that's what you get for charging me extra for tea, some bitch.
Some bitch.
fucking should charge extra for tea with the amount of weird shit you people do to it.
See, you're starting it up again, brother. You know what happened last time?
Hey, now, don't generalize. I mean, as long as you're talking about tea. Otherwise, it's okay, but don't generalize.
I tried green tea the other day for the first time, and it was fucking terrible.
Oh,
Really?
snap.
You
I
don't know
dig
what you're
tea.
talking about, sir.
I dig tea a lot, actually.
I gotta admit, I think Dale gave me some green tea one time when we were in San Francisco.
Quote unquote
And
green.
he called it a dirty name that I can't say on the air, but well, really, a racist
Was it a
name.
dirty name for Japanese people?
Kinda. And you know what? It was okay. It was okay, but mainly because I was fucking tired after walking that long. And dude, like Brad Nicholson got tuckered out by walking at GDC. It was terrible. But you know what? I don't like green tea. Just in general, it is bad stuff. But Topher, you like it?
I love it, dude. I drink it every day.
I like it all right.
You don't puke?
What kind of green tea are you drinking? You drinking some like Lipton bullshit that you bought at fucking Safeway? Or what kind of
Wait. Do
green
you
tea
have
we
like a
talking about?
magical hut? Do you like travel to like wherever fucking green tea is made and like
do, as a
grab
matter
it
of
from the old
fact.
lady?
It's called the Magical Hut. That's the name of the store that I get it from.
Yeah, she gets her little mortal and pestle and does her little thing. I don't know
Is that
how you
what the
make
kids are
tea.
calling it these days?
I guess it's mortar. See, I don't know. Jim, you guys probably still use mortar and pestles, right? In Britain land?
Hell no, they are
Well,
wired to
I
the
mean-
fucking gills with cameras.
If your fucking field has had particularly fallow earth and the crop has yielded, then you might be able to save up enough doubloons for pelt and mortar. Otherwise you have to chew the shit up with your wooden teeth.
I understood like 12% of what he just said.
Yea, verily, forsooth.
Yeah.
Sir, spelled S-E-R, for fuck's sake.
Okay,
Quote-
so straight up,
What's
So
with
I-
you, Paula Abdul?
what?
What?
Oh, because I said straight up. Neat.
Oh.
Neat. But I did a lot of driving this weekend. Went to visit my girlfriend and then came back home to go to work. And so I had to have something to do, while I was in the car. And for you listeners, this is kind of a little side note about the genesis of this podcast. When we were getting it started, Aaron Lindy suggested that we listen to the Idle Thumbs podcast because he thought that was a good kind of model for how we ought to set it up. And so I said, okay.
I should note that I didn't do that, so if I'm not doing a very good job, that's why.
I did. And so I listened to it in the car. And I listened to their first episode, and they did it in like the fall of 2008, right? Which seems, not too far ago. 2 years, not even a year and a half. And they're talking about like Gears of War 2, about like the previews of that. And it just kind of struck me. I was like, holy shit, Gears of War 2? That shit has been out like a million years, right? No, it's been out a year and a half. Not even that. And it just kind of hit me like how fast the games industry moves. And so, of course, that got me kind of on that line of thinking. Like, my birthday's tomorrow. I'll be 23. And so I was just thinking, like,
Happy birthday, Joseph.
Thank you, Tofu.
Yeah, happy birthday, brother. What do you want?
The job.
Okay.
Neat. And so like I got to thinking about this, like, holy fuck, I'm 23, you know, and this whole like industry moves at like fucking 150 miles per hour. And then it hit me that I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing this shit 5 years. Like, that's a quarter of my life. That's a fifth of my life. 20%. 20% of my life has been like devoted to like reading about games on the internet and then like playing them and writing about them sometimes.
How's that mansion?
Fucking blew me away, man. Do you guys not? You guys don't feel that way?
I'm
I've been
31, dude.
Happy birthday.
Doesn't it bug you that the games industry moves so fast and like you can't even?
Not really. Maybe if I paid attention to the games industry, it would.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I believe it's some form of life extension, because when you think about it, how fast the internet moves in general, let alone our industry.
Yeah.
We
That's
learn
exactly
we learn and see, thus experience so much more in such a shorter amount of time. We effectively live longer mentally, if not physically. So I've got the mind of a 41-year-old, even though I'm 26. So I'm quids in. That's profit as far as I'm concerned. That's life profit. So it can keep moving past because I'm living life at twice the speed.
Yeah, I don't think that's the internet. I mean, I don't think that's the games industry so much as it is the internet. It just moves a million miles an hour.
That's probably true.
It does. Like, you know what's scary about me is I've been doing this for almost 3 years. Pretty damn close. And I've worked at a lot of places now. If you think about it, I went to Destructoid, MTV, The Giant Bomb. And those are and I started just 3 years ago at like some blogger got 12 hits a month. It's pretty crazy, like that's how quick it all happens.
Anyway, that was my existential kind
Fuck
of
you
moment.
guys, man. You know what? I was all fucking. You know what, dude? I did such a great job. I got hired all this thing. I'll rub it in your face. What
Dude,
up?
I'm feeling you, Brad. I'm proud of you. I'm happy.
You should be, man, because I'm goddamn good.
Anyway, that was my existential moment for Electric Hydra.
I'm gonna change this to talk about how awesome Brad Nicholson is. Can we get that on Podbean? Let's preserve that URL. Just an hour of how awesome I am. I'll be the host.
As opposed to being the host now.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll be the host of both these podcasts, and they'll feed into each other. I'm just joking.
So it's like the hydras are eating its own heads and regenerating and eating it all over again.
I got a question about hydras, by the way. Do we actually have an official response as to why this is called the Electric Hydra?
This sounds fun.
I do.
It sounds awesome.
Because
What is
Jim
it?
thought of it.
It's true.
We were, okay, here's the story. Somebody asked this in the listener questions too, so we'll save this one. We were kicking around names because we hadn't thought of one yet. This was like the day we recorded the first episode.
Our very first episode, we didn't have a name. We just called it like the podcast. And
We did a pilot test
we
run
just
and
went
we had no name for it.
Yeah, we still didn't have a name, so we were kicking some stuff back and forth, and then I said, wouldn't it be funny or awesome, or maybe not, whatever, if we gave it just like some ridiculous fucking monster name, like the Unstoppable Kraken.
Oh, let the record show that I started talking about dragons first. And
Yeah, some shit like that. And we're like, let's call it the fucking steam-belching locomotive beast, or some shit like that. And then Jim said Electric Hydra, and we all thought it was cool, and then we went with it. The end.
Yeah, it was between that or Splendid Manticore in my mind, and then I thought, fuck it, Electric Hydra sounds pretty cool. I think I came up with two other monster things. One was something else Hydra, and another was Electric something else, like Electric Harpy or whatever. And then I was like, actually no, put Electric next to Hydra instead, like those monsters in Sesame Street that put two words together. And then that was that.
Dude, there's an awesome shirt about that online.
It was either this or like Righteous Chimera. So
Yeah, there was something Chimera going on in there,
Yeah.
too.
All kinds of mythical beasts with a word. So,
Marvelous Manicores.
Adam was the best in the naming process because one of us would come up with like ultimately a bad idea, but Adam would then like start putting like adjectives and nouns together, like using that idea. It was great, man. He's like a human
20,000
thesaurus.
ideas that...
We threw around so many. Actually, I'm trying to find the email string where we just kind of like went nuts for a bit. Eventually, it'll be interesting. Keep going, guys.
So we're gonna take some more listener questions. Who wants?
I thought we were talking about other stuff right now.
Yeah, you guys.
Other names?
No, stuff.
Oh, all right. I can talk about some
Did
stuff.
we miss something?
I don't know.
Or do we have some
I've got nothing left to say to anybody.
fucking
That kind of day.
I'm over.
Today's been a long day for my ass. First day at the job kind of sucks because you're just like learning everything and screwing stuff up. It's always just like super long because you want to make it right.
My days are short now. They're too short because I've only got a few hours before the house heats up to such a point where I can't do anything anymore because I'm in the middle of buttfuck Mississippi, and it gets hot, really hot, especially when you're in an apartment with shitty air conditioning. So I wake up in the morning, it's pretty chilly because it's been the night and everything's cooled down. By the time it gets to 1 in the afternoon, it's too hot. I'm in my pants, my underpants, and I can't do anything else. So this morning it was like, do all of my stories on Destructoid, do some freelance stuff, get cracking on my novel. Oh shit, it's ha ha ha. And do it all before I get too hot, and then just lie in bed, spread out, trying to spread my fat around as much as possible, listening to old Ricky Gervais things.
Dude, that's the life in Mississippi. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was born and mostly raised in northern Mississippi.
You were born?
Yeah, no, I was born in Mississippi. A few hours north of where Jim is now, and I can vouch for that man. He gets fucking hot. I'm actually going to go down and visit my mom sometime this summer, and I'm absolutely dreading it.
How is she?
It's not good. It's
fucking hot? God.
it's worse.
Your mom's hot?
It's worse than you remember. It's certainly worse than it was last year. It was not this hot. It was still pretty chilly in the mornings this time last year. That's that global warming, isn't it? But I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a fucking British atheist who lives in the middle of Mississippi. My life's amazing.
Dude, honestly, we're better. We're probably better for it. We could probably use a few more atheists in Mississippi. And that's
you're probably like fixing all their ratios and shit just by being there.
Well, it's interesting because being in Britain, there's very lackadaisical attitude towards religion. I mean, we're British. We keep ourselves to ourselves. We don't talk about things like that. We get very embarrassed talking about God and being in love with a man we've never met who is in a book. Very similar to Twilight fans, I've noticed. But anyway, we don't really talk about that kind of thing. There's a very clear distinction between church and state. And even though they make you do the Lord's Prayer in school, it's not a big deal. I had to do the Lord's Prayer in school all my life. Never really considered there being a God because they never tried to fuck with your mind when you were a kid in Britain. And then I come here, which I think has been interesting because it's the complete opposite. It's where you can do a rather what I considered a heinous prayer in school. This is at my kids' school. They got around it by having a parent do it.
You talking about the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, this was something else. They had an awards day at my stepkid's school. And as teachers, you're not legally allowed to force religion on a group of people in a public school. So they got a parent to do it. Get round it. Plus, it's Mississippi. Who the fuck's going to kick up a fuss? And I just don't. I don't think that a 7-year-old boy especially a 7-year-old boy who I don't think, or more importantly, his mother doesn't think that he needs to be hearing all this religious stuff till he's old enough to make his own mind up about that kind of thing. But I don't think any 7-year-old needs to be told that they're covered in the blood of Christ. That might just be me. I don't know, but I don't think 7-year-olds need to be told they're covered in fucking blood, especially by people who would have a problem with violence in the media. But violence in a religious context is absolutely fine. And that's, if you want to believe all that stuff, that's up to you. I believe in things like natural selection, for example, because it's real. But it's I think that's inappropriate. But at the same time, I'm glad I'm living in the opposite way, well, the opposite society religiously that I used to, because it gives you some real kind of insight into that kind of thing. In Britain, you were an atheist, no big deal. Most people I knew were. I come out here and the tables completely changed. Hell, the other day I saw a wedding, and it was two black people. And I've never seen, and again, this is just where I am in Britain, I've never seen more than 5 black people in the same group at the same time. And it's weird to see, like, a church, and there's, like, fucking 50, which is amazing to me. It's so different. And it seems insignificant to probably a lot of listeners, especially if they're in an area.
Probably not, Jim. I think the national average for black Americans is like 15 or 18%. In Mississippi it's like 50-50. Like,
yeah,
we have disproportionately more black citizens than most of the rest.
I mean, it's like, socially and in my mind there's no issue with that, whatever. But just physically seeing it, as someone who's never seen that kind of thing before, just that many black people in the same place, it's kind of, I double took, and not out of places. You have to be so fucking careful, don't you?
Yeah. I've been stifling a laugh for like the last 20 minutes.
But
this is about as diplomatic as I get, folks. But I'm just saying, as a British person, I'm kind of grateful for the fresh perspective and being in a society that is so absolutely different from the one I was raised in. It's amazing,
But you still hate the French, don't you?
Fuck him. Fuck them.
Whoa, brother.
I'm joking.
I'm gonna have to bring up so many issues here. I do want to go on the record and say that, like, I don't hate Mississippi. I don't have any kind of like self-loathing for it. I actually really enjoyed growing up there, and I really enjoy being from the South, and I probably self-identify as a Southerner. There are just so many like special and great things I think about the South that they get misrepresented and kind of whitewashed over in a lot of other places in the United States. And I'm not going to get into, like, most people think that we're all slack-jawed assholes, and some of us are.
You are.
Thanks. Cool. But, there are so many special things about being from the South that...
Oh, snap.
Dude. Well, Adam, you're from fucking Virginia.
Whoa.
I mean, we're not even...
Yo, you live at 1402 Lakeside, man. What?
How dare you?
But straight up, like, there's so many things that I just absolutely love from being, like, from the South, and would not give it up for anything. And that's despite its many and well-documented faults.
Nice. So, oh man, I got some podcast names here from Adam Dork before we go into listener questions. This is just a random assortment here. These are great. Ear Static, 6 is a Crowd, Growing Power, Listen to Us, Uninventive Name, Blank Case, Suit Up, Best Show Ever with an A, Waffles Are Better, which is great, and Dumping It.
Dumping it?
Yeah, Dumping It. These are just some of the names we've considered. And I did like Monkey Butt Loving at one point. I thought, you know what? That's all right. That's all right. And, Jim had some cool ones, too, that I can't locate it right now.
The only one I remember was the Presidents of fucking A.
Yeah, and God Mode was in the same email, too. I looked at that one for a bit, too. You know what? Naming a podcast ain't easy. Now I understand why companies like go hire PR agencies to come up with names, man, because it's... Dude, you could sit there and think about a name for fucking 2 years, and it basically took us, like, down to the wire and just like, fuck it, let's do this name. Sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah, don't you remember what a hard time you had, like, making it come out of your mouth last week?
Yeah. It just flowed this time, I think. Did I even say it yet?
I don't think you said it. I don't remember.
No, you did. You did. Because I
Jim
said
said
it
it, and
first,
I
and
was
then
listening.
yeah.
Shows how much I pay attention.
So we want to take some questions, or what do
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want
Let's take a small break. We'll come back around. Hey, welcome back to Electric Hydra Podcast. We're going to take some reader questions from Twitter, in fact. You can follow us at Electric Hydra. Pretty hip show. Somebody just sent me a message. What did I do?
By the way, whoever's tweeting at the Electric Hydra account is brilliant. I just love. I love the way the tweets are phrased.
Oh, that's been me.
Yeah, well done.
He's doing an excellent job on that front. Okay, so we got one dude that wants us to talk about Lost. Have any of you seen it or have any interest?
Yes.
Any interest in what the ending was?
Wait,
Because
really?
I'll bust it out right
I
now.
thought Joseph said
You
he was going to
watched
quit
Lost,
the internet
Pope?
if we talk about it.
I did say that in an email.
Yeah, let's not spoil it so we don't fucking whatever.
I will say,
Yeah.
though, can I say it's fucking stupid?
Everyone's been saying it's fucking stupid, apparently. So I
There are
don't
a couple
think
people. There are a couple people that think it's fucking brilliant, and I don't understand those people.
No, I heard people at work who are fanboys. They were saying, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen, so I'm all right with the ending."
Wait,
They're
so-
nearly the only people that liked it were the people that had the ending catered specifically to what they already wanted. There's something like Lost, and bear in mind, I've only ever seen one episode from season 2 of Lost, and judged the entire show on that for fun. But a show like Lost that's full of speculation and questions that need answering before the end, and is hyped to such a degree, sometimes in a manufactured way, that people become obsessed with it. There's no way it could have concluded without upsetting 90% of the fan base. There's just no way. Like, I'm absolutely not shocked by the reaction. The whole show was set up to piss people off.
That's
Wait,
the reason that I love the ending. I thought
So-
I thought it was great because 90% of the fan base is going to fucking hate it. And I
Right.
fucking love it when that happens.
So Brad and Topher, were you guys Lost fans? Did you watch that every week?
I got in real late and watched it all over Netflix, and actually got caught up this season.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, dude, like I gotta tell you what, the first season of Lost is fucking fantastic. It's really cool industrial Western fantasy, right? I mean, they're just on some weirdo fucking island where like this kind of like new age stuff is happening. It's basically like instead of wizards, you get a polar bear. You know what I mean? Or I guess instead of wizards, you get electromagnetism, like extreme levels of electromagnetism. It's just cool, and then it just starts spiraling out of control, man. Like by season 4 or 5, I was literally forcing myself to watch it, and if it wasn't for that one blonde chick with the decent hooters, I wouldn't have watched it otherwise. And I'm sad that she left.
Jim, we were talking about books earlier, and I mentioned that I'd been reading, Martin.
Yep.
And I kind of feel like that's kind of the same thing because, we still have 3 books left to go in the series, and just the internet is full of speculation about it. And yes, like I read up on that shit because, I'm a nerd and I like it.
I try and
But,
avoid all that. I don't like being whipped up into someone else's frenzy.
Well,
If
I usually don't, but I've got a few friends on Destructoid and elsewhere that are also reading it and are also really into it, and they kind of like drug me into this like black hole of like fan speculation, and I totally see where that can. I'm 100% behind you on that. Like when fans get too involved, not involved, but too invested.
Yeah, it usually leads to. I mean, they had the same thing with The Sopranos, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
No one liked the way that ended, and it's not through really much of the show's fault. It's these people invest so much of themselves into liking something.
It's not the show's fault at all. Those guys wrote that story. They don't owe you shit.
No, they
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, I mean,
Dear Internet, no one owes you a fucking thing.
I
You
can't
can't like
speak
point
for
at those guys and say the story you wrote is wrong. That's that guy's fucking story. You can't tell him it's wrong.
Well,
But
I mean,
it's
if-
Tell him you
if
don't
the
like it. You
story's-
think it sucks, but it's like people
Yeah.
feel genuinely cheated out of something. I wasted 6 years of my. No, you didn't. Well, yeah, you did. You did. They didn't.
Well,
But
people
it
are
is
entitled-
fun, as a fan to like, find those kind of communities and like be able to talk about that kind of stuff and
See,
nerd out.
I don't watch television, so I've been watching it on Xbox, actually, on Xbox Live. I got caught up with it at the end of last season. And then when it came on, like, of course Twitter's going to spoil it for me, so like I had to watch it so that it wouldn't be ruined. So for the first time in like probably since the pilot aired, I watched television last night to see what was going to happen. And
Hooray, commercials.
yeah, I don't like I'm not sorry that I don't watch television.
Yeah, those commercials were fucking brutal.
Yeah, no, I really don't watch TV that much either.
2.5 hours of Lost. And,
Is that
and,
what you
like,
guys have to go through? Is TV really like that? Like,
Dude, I
think
watched
they
it.
pumped it up for
2 minutes of programming, 8 minutes of commercials.
somebody.
2 minutes.
I couldn't believe that America did that.
Somebody on Twitter was saying that the Lost episode was actually an hour and 45 minutes. That means there's 45 minutes of commercials.
Oh, I believe it, dude. It was terrible.
Oh, so the Lost series finale was 2.5 hours long.
You know why? Because they didn't answer a fucking question until the very last episode, and even then they failed utterly. Utterly.
Anyway, what's the next question?
But yeah, Jim, you should explain how European commercials are different, because that's something I love when I go visit my dad, who lives in France. Like, TV is so different, just
Yeah, I mean, this is-
on a fundamental like structural basis. Like TV.
Yo,
is so
don't you
I-
guys
I-
just grab like boxes and carve out a hole in the middle and play with matches or something?
Well, the thing is you have to go to the town square where the oldie fool will perform for the yeomen of the local village. And, you know, they'll perform either their own... They'll do a tumbling act sometimes, or they'll have some little midget chaps come out. It's fun for all the family. Those of our family who haven't fell to the pox yet. Fucking hell. No, in Britain, commercials... In those stations that use commercials, obviously we have the BBC, and that's a whole kettle of fish that I don't want to get into, because I disagree with the whole license fee thing that they make you do for the BBC. But on the actual commercial television, ITV, Channel 4, what have you, adverts are thus. You have a commercial in between each TV show, and a commercial in the middle of the TV show, if it's a half-hour show. So that's per hour, you get 4 commercial breaks, basically, once every 15 minutes. And then I come to this country where you have the fucking title sequence of a show as its own thing, as an island in between commercials. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, in France, it's even better. Like, they show an entire show, then they show, 6 commercials, and then they show another entire show.
That's
so,
how it should be.
You go take a shit, or, grab another beer, or get some food, or whatever you're going to do, smoke a cigarette, and then you come back and your next show is on.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
fantastic.
And not only that, I mean, the commercials ruin American television, not just because I can't watch a show that's that disjointed, that's split up every 5 fucking minutes by commercials. It puts me... I can't get into the show, I have to watch it on DVD or on the internet, because I can't deal with that. I don't know if that's a cultural thing, but then there's a lot I've seen Americans grow up with in the media that they just accept that I can't stand for. I can't be part of it. And that's it. And then the ad networks themselves demanding what the station shows. I mean, have you ever tried to watch a movie that's been edited for American television? It's unwatchable.
Monday
They'll
to
take
Friday
things-
train.
RoboCop
yeah,
is
exactly.
the best.
They'll take things entirely out of context for the sake of appeasing the ad networks, who have already ruined the movie by putting breaks in. I can't understand a single person who would be able to watch a movie on American national television. American TV disgusts me, and even late at night, you can't have proper swear words. I come from a country where you can say cunt on TV if you're on the right station.
Yeah, the porn comes on at 10 o'clock.
Hell yeah. That's what we beat Germany for.
Yeah.
But, there's a TV show I used to watch. It was kind of a guilty pleasure because a lot of people would say it was shit, and it kind of was, but they had a spoof of Michael Jackson, except he was a stereotypical hood type of character, and he used to drop the word motherfucker in between every other word. So you just have this kind of Michael like with a rubber mask and the Thriller outfit, just going "Shimon, motherfucker," which was awesome. And you wouldn't get that on American TV. You couldn't get away with that. And there's so much you can't get away with on American TV. And I mean, I know Family Guy gets a lot of stick and isn't liked by a lot of people, but I at least respect them for trying to push some envelopes there on TV and trying to get away with shit. And Drawn Together was another one that unfortunately got cancelled despite being brilliant in a tasteless way. It makes you appreciate those kinds of things that come along, but American TV makes me very sad. And just the fact that it's normal, it's banal to see something that I think is atrocious.
I think what's most interesting is kind of like from a technical or like creative standpoint is how you have to pace your show and write your show differently depending on, where those breaks have to fall. And the good shows work with that, and bad shows it seems disjointed and fragmented and kind of buckety. And so it's kind of interesting how like that craft of like creating a TV show changes fundamentally depending on like what your situation is, advertising wise. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this conversation and just fucking bring it to a grinding halt, and maybe we can bring the next question.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What is Joseph always brings everything to a grinding halt. It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's your southernerness has made up some shit.
Fucking talk too slow, man. I don't have the energy.
Your voice is like molasses, sir.
It really is. It really is. I was listening to the first episode, just kind of see how it is. Hate my voice. Hate it real bad.
I got mad Indiana in my shit too. Don't feel bad. I was like, really? I talk like that?
It's like awful.
It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, what is iProductions asked via Twitter? What is the most controversial happening in the video games industry, in your opinion? And Jim, my man, you cover this shit every day. What do you think?
Ooh, it depends, really. I mean, on the type of controversy. I don't think it's enough to just say controversy and that is it. I mean, controversy runs a whole gamut of things. It can be controversy as in a national media shitstorm, like the stuff that happened with anything Rockstar does, or
Mass Effect.
The Mass Effect sex scene. Thank you.
Rayplay,
of course. I mean, I think Rayplay is in recent time the most controversial thing that has happened in a long time. But then that's just in terms of media. In terms of what actually affects us as gamers, you've got things like Final Fantasy 13 coming on the Xbox 360. That was a massively controversial thing that a lot of people had convinced themselves wouldn't happen. So there's stuff like that. It's dedicated servers. That was probably last year's biggest controversy. The Left 4 Dead 2 boycott, that whole thing. It's difficult because so many things are controversial in different ways, and it's always changing. Something becomes controversial in a very huge and emotive, evocative way for a very short period of time. Whereas you can have something like Rapeplay that doesn't really shock any of us as gamers, but carries on for such a long time with the mainstream media that it could be considered more controversial just in terms of longevity. So I think it's kind of an impossible question to answer, really.
I'll spin it on the human side. I'll say the EA wives business, and that's because like here's a bunch of dudes that are just like fucking working their ass off on these games, like just working all goddamn day, never getting a break, to the point where their wives had to be like, "Yo, pay these dudes, give them some time off." I mean, like, damn.
That was a classic.
There was EA, and then there was also a Rockstar one more recently.
That's a recent one, the Rockstar Wives. Nothing ever came of that.
No, and that was San Diego, in fact, the studio that put out Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Shit, what was I going to say?
Then, of course, we had Infinity Ward and Activision. That whole thing is probably the most controversial thing to happen recently.
Jeff Gertzman, that was a pretty good little controversy.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the gamer community, as opposed to the industry.
Like leaning on media types to give them good reviews or whatever. That's always a kind of a hotspot.
Yeah, I mean, reviews are probably the most controversial thing in terms of what I do and what you guys. Well, you guys, you review for MTV, Brad, and then you, Joseph, for us. That's probably the most controversial thing a writer can do.
What? Review a game for another website?
Is to just give your opinion on a video game.
Right.
Apparently, that's the most controversial thing you can do, is to say whether you liked or didn't like a game. But if you do it on a big enough platform, it threatens and upsets people. So they're always... I mean, that's... I guess given my own personal history, it kind of made sense that I ended up doing reviews. And it's fun and interesting and kind of an intriguing social... kind of thing, investigation, is to see how people react to another person's opinion if they consider that person important, I guess.
Yeah. My favorite controversy, and this was a few years ago, it was Infinity Ward, and it was when Activision was starting
Oh yeah.
the hype for World at War, which is a Treyarch game, as you guys know. And I don't remember exactly the specifics, but it was this kind of Activision like PR guy that was like trying to hype World at War and basically kind of like taking Modern Warfare's kind of like hype and appropriating it for Treyarch, and was kind of saying, oh, we got this Treyarch game, and our last game, Modern Warfare, was like so popular, blah blah blah. And Robert Bowling, the community manager for Infinity Ward, is it 402? Yeah. 402, like, gave an interview, and it was like, I really wish that guy, and he called him like
A douchebag.
yeah, he calls him a douchebag, just like,
And then he wrote on his blog and called him
yeah, exactly. He's like, I wish that fucking guy would like quit
And he still got a job!
talking about our game like this is our game, that's not his. Like, quit using like our fucking product to sell your shit. Like, I don't like it. And like, this is all Activision, right? This is all Activision owned. And he was just like, fuck that guy. Like, out in public, didn't give a fuck. And like, nothing ever came of it. I love that.
He still works for him too. Even after Infinity Ward's like completely left. Like, he's like still there.
Yeah.
DLC packs.
Exactly. So that's my favorite little controversy. He was just like, fuck that guy. He's a douchebag. And that was it.
Good one, actually. And let's move on real quick. K-Pax with 2 X's sent us a bunch of questions, a ton. So I'm just going to pick one. Who is the best wizard?
Ooh.
I know.
Best wizard.
I'm gonna personally go for Bayaz from Joe Abercrombie's first Law trilogy, which I know you've read some of, Brad.
Yeah.
An incredibly funny
that
and clever little dark fantasy thriller thing. Very recommended. Joe Abercrombie became one of my favourite writers this year when I started reading his stuff. And Bayaz is this kind of this. He's very much not like your typical wizard. I mean, he's bald and fat and kind of has a beard, but he's not the kind of wizened, pointy-hatted guy. And in the first book, he angrily addresses a group of people who have stormed into his chambers after having taken a bath, and walks out completely naked, complete with his slapping fruits bashing against his legs, and makes somebody explode. And it's just the most badass thing to be this all-powerful wizard, dripping wet and completely naked. Marks him as probably my favourite wizard of all time.
Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Terry Brooks's like massive series. Oh God, he had 2 wizards that were really cool, and I'm blanking on because it's been so long since I read any of his books, and I don't know if you guys are very familiar with him either. He's the guy that wrote all the Sharnara books, or Shannara, or however the hell you're supposed to say it.
Not familiar to me.
Yeah, I can't think of the dude's name. Hang on. They're druids. I mean, I guess that's kind of like a wizard, right? Do druids count?
If they do magic, I guess.
Isn't like
Bremen.
druids a little bit more? They do magic, but they also do a little more fighting. Or am I thinking clerics?
This guy was totally a badass, man. He was like basically the equivalent of Roland in the Dark Tower, to say his name again the second time in this podcast, except of wizards. Like, this guy was like the last kind of his kind and just like a total complete badass. Even though the books were pretty weak at times. Like, this guy wrote like a 40-book series. It's insane. He's worse than Salvatore, I think.
Okay, guys, this is going to be... I'm stretching here. But when I was a kid, I read these fucking fantasy books, and like the main characters were griffins, right? And they were like these humans and these fucking wizards, but they had griffins in their army, and there were 3 of them, and they would like the griffins could talk to each other and shit, and were also kind of psychic and could kill people like with their minds. Does that ring any bells for you guys?
No.
Fuck.
No, I've never heard of that.
I can't remember what the name of it is, and like it's really, really like hardcore, like young adult, like kids fantasy. And I don't remember like anything particularly badass, but I just remember being like, you know, as a kid, you know, holy fuck, this griffin, like not only does he have like claws and an eagle face, but he can kill people with his mind. And so that's a pretty cool wizard as far as I'm concerned. But I wish I could think of the fucking name.
All right. Well, while you're thinking, we'll do 2 more questions and we'll end the podcast. Mighty M asks, what's the worst game you've beaten and what drove you to finish it? Exclude games you played for your jobs, reviews, etc. And I just straight up top of my head, the original Assassin's Creed. I realized about 14 hours in that I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And at that point, I was like, dude, I gotta keep going. I put this much time in. I'm gonna beat this fucking game. And I did. And it hurt every second.
Lost Planet 2.
Oh, God. Adam says Lost Planet 2. Yeah, I heard that game was not good.
It really wasn't. I don't know why people were saying it was. I mean, you don't find any bugs. And it's just like... It just keeps on going. It doesn't want to stop.
You know what happened is they paid $60 for the game, and they don't know what to do other than say it's great.
Hey, I paid $60 for that game, and I think it sucks.
No, you're realistic, though. I mean, some people aren't. They're like, oh, man, this is the only game I could buy this month. It's fucking fantastic. It's like the people that like Breath of Fire 2. And the only reason they do is because Mommy paid $90 for that shit, and that's the only game you got for a year.
I tried to finish Kane and Lynch, but I was playing offline, and I think there's a patch to fix the ending, because every time I did the ending, they kept on killing me. Because they would like shoot me during mid cutscene, like I would die mid cutscene. So I was like, "Oh, screw that." So I don't know how anybody could say Kane Lynch was playable unless there was a patch.
I beat Kane of Lynch, Kane and Lynch. I was never shot in any cutscenes. I was playing on PC though. I don't know if that would have.
It was at the very end where you had to shoot that stupid mine in the corner.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Every time I shot the mine, they'd do that cutscene where they're jumping, and all the guards shot down at me and killed me during the little jump. That you can't do anything.
I don't recall that ever happening to myself. But that's possibly in a running for the worst games I've played that I've beat. Mostly because if a game's shit, I tend not to persevere.
Yeah, there aren't very many games that I've beaten that were bad.
And usually if it's bad, I'll stop playing. Clock Tower 3 is one, though, that I did finish that was fucking horrible.
What was it? I think I interrupted.
Clock Tower 3.
Remind me what that series is, even. Like, I know the name, but
it's sort of I guess it's supposed to be survival horror.
Is it?
It's the one where you go back in time and you try to change your death or something like that. Isn't that?
Or am I thinking of...
No. Clock Tower 2 is one of the floating scissors that chase you around the house.
It's basically like a cat and mouse type of game. If you've played Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, it's kind of like that, but where the whole Nemesis chase sequence is. That's the
pretty
entire
much. Yeah, you have these these fucked up psychopaths that are like chasing you through the house or through the town or wherever you are, and if the girl becomes frightened, like your like panic meter maxes out, and then you can't do shit. You fucking stand there, and she like shakes and freaks out.
I tell you what,
which 9 times out of 10 ends up in you dying. The game is fucking awful, but I've
got respect for Clock Tower 3 though. That's the one that had the guy with the sledgehammer, yeah?
Yeah.
In the first level, yeah. I've got some major respect for Clock Tower 3, mostly because it has some of the most brutally shocking cutscenes I've ever seen.
See, here's the thing about it though, like the first half of the game was really good. I really enjoyed the first half of it, but somewhere in the middle toward the end, it just turned to shit, and the end was fucking stupid.
But I think any game that has a boss based on John Haig, the fucking acid bath murderer, is like that game won my instant respect. The second their version of, I mean, John Haig was a mustachioed confidence trickster. But this version of John Haig in his fucking gas mask running old women along surfaces and dumping them headfirst in a barrel full of acid was just hilarious and awe-inspiring. So, yeah, awe-inspiring. So, that game impressed me. It did turn shit. I'm with you there.
Yeah, but I think that's why I finished it too, because it was so good at the beginning that I finished it in the false hope that something of what I played at the beginning would make a return. Like I was hoping it would be good again, but it didn't. It didn't happen. The beginning was awesome. The first probably couple hours of that were great. I loved it, but
yeah, I mean the serial killer stopped being interesting as well. Like you had the first guy who was this scary mentalist who had just clubbed a little girl in the head with a hammer. You had the John Haig guy, and then you ended up with just weird, silly ones, and it got less scary and more contrived. And
the boss was just purely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, and it was just horrible ending to what started out as a really great game, but ended up shit.
I think the worst game I've ever played to completion for fun, well, it wasn't fun, but I did it, was the most recent Warriors game, the downloadable game for XBLA.
Oh, man, you played through that?
Oh, yeah. It was real bad.
Ah. Yeah. You know, I'm amazed that game even passed certification, to be honest.
I know, right?
I don't even know how. I mean, like, good games can't get through certification. How did that?
And I only played it because I was in a fraternity in college, actually. And but anyway, we watched Warriors every year, so I was like, and it's a bad movie too. Like it's not a good movie anyway. And so I was like, okay, I'll play this, but it didn't recreate any of the good feelings I had from watching that movie with my friends.
Yeah. I wish I could come up with another great one. I mean, you guys had a hell of a conversation, but you know, dude, just like everyone else, I just, you know, if I like the game, I'll play through it to completion. And to be honest, though, even if a game's mildly frustrating to me, I don't finish it. Take, for example, Grand Theft Auto 4. Yeah, I got to one mission where I was just like, I don't want to fuck with this anymore, and I never did. And I probably missed a good ending. People tell me that the game ended superbly. Did it? What happens?
I don't know, brother.
Nobody knows. See? There you go. You guys see me.
I'm the exact opposite. Like, if I start a game, I will finish it. And it might take me several years. Like, I'm still right in the middle of Final Fantasy 12. I almost finished it. All right, this is a fucking drama. I almost finished it, and I went home 1 year in college for spring break, and I took my shit with me, my memory card, and I forgot it at home. And so I told my brother, mail this memory card to me so that I can keep playing Final Fantasy 12. So he sends it in the mail, and all I get is an empty envelope with a little like rectangular hole cut out of it. And my memory card is gone.
Heartbreaker. That is terrible.
And so I started Final Fantasy 12 over. And if any of you guys have played it, I mean, it's a fucking massive game. Like, and that's not like a slight. Like, okay, there is some filler, but it's a big game. Like, there's a big world and it's long. And so, like, I'm about halfway through with it. And every couple of weekends, I'll pick it up. I can play it for 2 or 3 hours, get sucked back into it, and keep chugging along. But I will fucking finish the game. Like, it will take me forever, but I'll do it.
You know what? Final Fantasy 13. I'll say that.
That game was the worst game you've ever finished?
No, just not the worst. I mean, recently. I would say that's a good 1-star game. 1.5-star game. Harsh. Easily. You know what? Any game that takes 30 hours before you're like, oh, I can do something, not good. Game's just not good. Go ahead and send in your hate mail to what's your email, Topher?
It's not my email. It's your email. You can send that to Nicholson@gmail or whatever your email is.
Just send it to Topher's personal P.O. box. Joseph, you probably know it, right?
What? Topher's email?
Never mind, it was a joke.
Yeah, no,
But
it's adamdork@gmail.com.
there you go. There you
So
go.
you should.
It's not even an existing email address.
Whatever, send it there.
Send it to
Anyway.
Jim Sterling is British.
Fuck off! I've got enough hate mail for my review of the thing.
All right.
I've had enough of it. Why not send your hate mail to my personal PSN inbox? That's what some of them did.
Oh Jesus! Can you even check a message on PSN? Like, how do you even do that? I've never even tried.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to play. I was playing 3D Game Heroes at the time for review. Wanted to get on with it. Checked my inbox on PSN. Just a column of you fucking piece of shit.
Wow.
I hope you lose your job because of what you did, you evil man, and just all this stuff. It was brilliant. I still get mail. I got a message today on the Destructoid PM system. Someone wanting to call me on my bullshit. I stopped reading as soon as, because it's the same old thing. As soon as you say "call you on your bullshit," like, don't think I haven't read that exact phrase a billion times before over the past 3 years. So as soon as I hear "call you on your bullshit," I stop reading because they've got nothing new to say to me. But yeah, today I got Final Fantasy 13 hate mail for something I reviewed back in March. So
Okay.
sometimes
Everyone, send your hate mail to nguycroll@gmail.com.
Oh,
send it to Trent Reznor. That'll get him upset.
Full circle, baby. And final question: when are we going to be on iTunes? 4 or 3 more episodes?
We're already on iTunes.
We're on iTunes. Let me look for this shit. Because I don't believe you, Topher. I think you're lying.
I thought you had
everybody
to have
else
5
thinks you're lying.
I had to have 5 episodes to be on iTunes.
So did I. Apparently,
Electric Hydra.
Podbean puts you right on there. So
Oh, that's nice of them.
I see Telestro Hydra. You know what? This looks like a hot single, actually. It's a
Man,
cool.
speaking of hate mail, I had somebody in my comments
It's not on there.
for a review I wrote the other day.
well, and if it's not on there, then in after episode 5, episode 6 will be on iTunes.
Count on it.
Is it
Anyway,
such a
what was
big
that?
deal that it's on iTunes? Is it just the automatic download thing?
I guess
Yeah, which
some
is pretty
people it is, which I can understand. But yeah,
Can't understand.
What were you saying, Joseph?
what I don't think other people understand is that we really don't have anything at all to do with that. It happens whenever iTunes lets it happen. So
whenever Steve Jobs himself, send your hate mail to Steve Jobs at what's the Apple like
at Mac.com. Yeah.
Yeah, the short story is we want it to be on iTunes, so we're not deliberately doing anything.
Yeah, and we wanted it to be out on time last week too. We weren't fucking with you. It's just things don't always go exactly according to plan. We had a little trouble figuring out
Stuff.
best solution for.
We didn't even plan it.
Here's the thing, kids. Podcasts are fucking big, and when you want to put some big shit on the internet, that costs lots of money. So can't just say.
So
hey,
now that we've-
can I put like 7 gigabytes worth of shit over the next year or so or whatever on your server, and people aren't real.
So now that we've condescended to and patronised our listeners, we do hope that you'll tune in next week, where we will talk down to you some more, you stupid bastards.
Well,
I
have
didn't
a good.
say any of that. I was just trying to explain.
Now
Monkey
you just
butt.
plainly heard
This is fine.
Topher in his British voice telling you all that. Have a good night, guys.